social media makes everybody believe their own illusions of perfection. Because you can post just the right picture on Instagram and do the research and say just the right thing on Twitter, but that's not the reality of life. The reality of life is we fuck up, but nobody's willing to show people the mistakes nowadays. I'm not afraid to make the mistakes. I'm not afraid to say I don't know. Even at this level where I'm a nationally syndicated radio personality on 80 markets in 100 countries, I don't care if you call me stupid.
Welcome to Van Lathan's The Red Pill. On this episode, Charlamagne, the God, author, producer, of course, host of The Breakfast Club, and one half of my favorite podcast, The Brilliant Idiots, which is where you might have first heard me if you're listening to this right now. Now, a quick disclaimer, this interview was taped around a month ago. It's one of the first ones we got up, and so some of the things that Charlamagne and I discuss, the Dodge Ram commercial after the Super Bowl, Justin Timberlake. Might seem a little bit dated to you, but it's like wine. It just gets better with time when you're hearing this brother's insights. We also discussed Danielle Bregoli, Catch Me Outside Girl, and why she will never, ever, ever appear on The Breakfast Club, and colorism. We haven't figured that out in the last month, so that conversation is still pertinent. So pop some pills. Charlamagne is always a good time. Get ready for it. Let's have some fun. This is a huge, huge moment for the Red Pill podcast.
You finally realized that the white man invested some money in you, and you like, wow,
they have.
I can't believe this.
Dog, we got a set.
We got a set.
My name.
Van got a set.
The whole shit. We talked about this. We talked about a podcast like 2 years ago, and it's finally happening.
But
right
I thought
now.
you was just gonna have like a recorder, you know what I mean, and a mic. I didn't know you were gonna have a set.
That's not how we do.
And you got a production team, and you got cameras
a whole
set up.
Team. By the way, a whole production team of white people.
There you go.
That's how you know.
That's how you know you winning.
We got to just not sparing any expense around
Either
here,
you're winning or you sold out. One of the two. Or the white people are buying in, because you can't sell out unless they buy in.
That's very true.
So maybe they just believe in your talent, Van.
That's very true. The Red Pill podcast proudly welcomes Charlamagne the God. Everybody clap for Charlamagne
the God. What's happening?
It's a big deal. I want to say something before we actually move on. This was not in any attempt to split up the Brilliant Idiots.
Okay.
Andrew Schultz was here last weekend. I would love, because I know in the past, I'm going to be real, Andrew has been salty when you have done podcasts without him. I know this to be...
That means nothing.
You don't care?
No. Okay. My name is Charlamagne the God. Andrew Schultz is my guy. We do the Brilliant Idiots together. Okay?
Right. I got you.
This is a Charlamagne the God interview with Van Lathan.
Right.
Not
True.
a Brilliant Idiots interview.
Very true. That's very, very true.
That's my guy, though. I salute the Schultz. I was just having a conversation about how Schultz really probably is one of the best stand-ups in the country.
I got to be real with you. I think he's, right now, I think he's the funniest man in the world right now.
Listen, people think I'm biased when I say that.
I think he's the funniest dude in the world. I saw him at the Improv this past Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew shut shit
Andrew
down.
is hilarious. If we can just get him to stop with this alt-right rhetoric, okay? All right? And keep the comedy going, we can have something here, baby.
Well, let me ask you something, because we talk about this. And not just Andrew, but anybody. You know, he has a certain worldview, and that worldview might not jibe with certain people.
Yes.
You know, but obviously there are things that he wants to do that some people might be offended by some of the personal views that he has, or anyone, right?
Yes.
To you, somebody who has a lot of personal views that rub people the wrong way sometimes.
Yes.
How do you juggle what it is you should and should not say in order to get done what you need to get done?
Well, I'm a media personality, so
Right.
that's the difference between being a media personality and a comedian.
Right.
You know, and Andrew is a comedian. So I think if Andrew could find a way to have that same worldview in those jokes, it would go over better.
Right.
But when you're just sitting on, the Brilliant Idiots podcast and you got your head, cut like a skinhead and you're letting this shit fly, people are like, yo, who the fuck is this guy? You know what I mean? Like, there was a point in time where people were lumping him in with the, Ben Shapiro's and the Tommy Laurens, and I got to defend this guy. I'm like, this is not who he is.
Because he's
at
not
all.
that, though.
No, he's not that at all.
He's not
and it's nothing wrong with having a different worldview. I just think he has to find a way to put it in the jokes, because his jokes are very smart.
Yeah.
So he just has to find...
All his observations are off the charts.
They're amazing. So just find a way to have those same, worldviews that people may think are a little radical and put them in the jokes.
Right.
And you're good. Simple as that. As a media personality, I can let whatever fly.
Right.
But I just know, like, it's just certain things I'm gonna stay away from because it ain't just worth the hassle. Like, if it don't mean anything personally to me, like if I think about that now. Like if somebody asks me about something, I think to myself, is my opinion on this something going to move the culture forward? Yeah. Is it going to make, this something better? Mm-hmm. Is it going to make people think in a positive way or just make people think, period? Right. If not, I'm just going to probably keep it to myself.
Right. So you feel like there are certain things you have a responsibility to not say?
Probably. But, it never works because the things I think I shouldn't say are never the things that get me in trouble.
Word. That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
it's
true.
The times when I'm
just. What's funny? You only get in trouble when you're trying to do the right fucking thing.
And when I'm trying to do the right fucking thing.
Whenever you're trying to say some fuck shit,
yeah,
it flies off the handle. But
nobody cares.
When you're trying to do the right thing is when you get yourself in trouble.
Absolutely. It's always like that. Like I can literally say some wild shit and be like, oh, that's probably gonna cause something, and nothing happens from it. Right. But then when I'm sitting on Twitter and I'm like, it'd be really dope if a woke woman of color.
Oh, don't listen to that.
It'd be really dope if a woke woman of color, created a platform to become a voice like Tommy Lauren did.
Right. Well, let's go back to that moment real quick, right?
Yes.
So you jumped out the window and chastised black women.
I did. Not purposely.
Not purposely.
Yes.
You did, but. Let's look. So you said that because at that time, that was during the time when everyone had drank the Tommy Lauren Kool-Aid, and we thought that she was, doing something that hadn't been done.
It wasn't Kool-Aid. It was quiche juice. Have you ever had quiche gravy?
No, I've had it. I've had it before. But when you said that, there was a backlash, right?
Absolutely.
That you got,
and rightfully so.
Rightfully so, absolutely. But out of that, there actually came something that was very positive, which has been your relationship with Angela Rye.
Yeah, that was absolutely the night I met Angela Rye because, the thing I messed up with when I did that was I should have asked a question.
Right.
I made a statement. Mm-hmm. And, women of color let me know, nigga, we out here. You just ain't paying us no goddamn attention. That's the problem. Y'all ignore us. We're not visible to y'all. Right. Y'all don't see us. We're invisible. And I'm like, shit, they right.
Yeah.
And so they were like, none of y'all aren't doing anything to empower us. Yeah. So, Angela was just one of those women that people were telling me about. And then, Angela hit me up on the DM and was like, I get what you was trying to say. I didn't agree with how you said it, but I get what you was trying to say. And we've been thick as thieves ever since. So, everything happens for a reason. But I was wrong in that moment because I should have asked the question. I should have said, who are the woke women of color that we can empower to combat this bullshit that is coming out of Tommy Lauren's mouth?
Right. Now, how do you learn? Because
maybe I should have just kept Tommy Lauren out of it altogether.
I mean, at that point, she was a hot topic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Now, we realize that, the mayonnaise has gone bad.
But mayonnaise spoils quick.
It spoils quick.
You can't keep mayonnaise out but a couple days,
you know
bro.
What I'm saying? But at that point, she was a hot topic. It wasn't just you, it was Trevor. Everybody was talking to her. We thought that she was going to be a big thing. It didn't happen. Something that recently went down, because we were having this conversation in the newsroom, in TMZ, we talked to Knowles. Matthew Knowles. Mm-hmm. Matthew Knowles says that Beyonce would not have been as popular as she is today if she wasn't so light-skinned.
I got to tell Matthew Knowles, shut the fuck up forever.
You think so?
I don't agree
with that. You don't agree with that?
No, man. Like, first of all, Beyonce is an immense talent. Mm-hmm. Let's put that on the table.
Sure.
A once in a lifetime talent, a once a generation talent. You don't see talent like that. Same thing with Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson was popping when he was dark-skinned. He was popping when he was light-skinned.
Right.
You know why? Because of his talent. So I think Beyonce would have been the same exact way.
Let me ask you this. Let me play white devil's advocate, as you say. Mm-hmm. Part of Beyonce's package is definitely the fact that she's so attractive. Now, you don't think so? She's a beautiful woman.
But I never looked at her and be like, she's a beautiful light-skinned woman. She's Beyonce.
But what I'm asking is, and I think what he's saying, and because you've had a conversation recently with Marlon LaNegra that some people took issue with, you don't think that part of how we view Beyonce as an attractive woman has to do with her complexion? Is that something that we can be aware of?
I mean, maybe subconsciously, but it's not because she's light-skinned. It's because her complexion looks good on Beyonce. Like, if you think about like and I thought about this because I saw when Matthew Knowles said that, and I looked up. I was like, just thinking about all the R&B singers who we consider legends throughout time. Diana Ross, Aretha Franklin,
Yeah.
Patti LaBelle,
Right.
Dionne Warwick,
Right.
Whitney Houston. They ain't red.
They not red.
They not beige.
They're not red, but they not Lupita. You know what I'm saying?
Who is though?
Lupita.
That's what I'm saying. But listen, first of all, I love dark-skinned women, contrary to popular belief. I love me. I like them black they almost purple. But what I'm saying is, what I'm saying is,
Oh shit, waxy.
how many dark-skinned women had those type of records that Beyonce had, or had the talent on stage that Beyonce had? Like who?
Right.
I just want to know who.
So I mean, listen, there's obviously been situations where there have been dark-skinned women that have won. I think when we're having the colorism argument, we're having the same argument that we do when we talk about other things.
Mm-hmm.
The colorism argument isn't whether or not dark-skinned women can succeed.
Mm-hmm.
It's whether or not dark-skinned women do succeed. You feel what I'm saying?
But you got to show me. I need a comparison. Like when Matthew Knowles says Beyonce.
Forget about Beyonce, right? Because Beyonce would be an outlier.
Well, give me the dark-skinned woman who was extremely talented who didn't succeed in entertainment.
I can't give it to her because we don't. There's a possibility that we never met her, right? If colorism is really a barrier that's stopping people from getting to the point that they're supposed to be at, the woman that we're talking about, we might not have been introduced to her because of things that stopped her from getting
Now that's
a chance.
the conversation. Are dark-skinned women not getting the opportunity, meaning they're not getting signed, or they're not getting in the door to begin with?
That's what we're talking about.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Because if you're talking about because my thing is if we're talking about dark-skinned women who actually have been signed and who have gotten the opportunity, like Kelly Rowland or the brother. I said the brother. Jermaine Dupri talked about Dondria. I think her name was. Yeah. Like they were actually signed,
right? And
they had the opportunities to succeed. Did they not pop off because of their dark skin, or just because they didn't have those joints? Because when Kelly had a joint, she popped when she had that joint with Lil Wayne. It was gone.
It popped. Let me ask you this: the conversation with Amara La Negra, that's been. Because it's early in the year, you haven't had as many Charlamagne, we hate Charlamagne moments.
I only get one a year.
You only get one a year now.
That's about one.
You're down to one a year.
Yeah, I'm down to one a year.
So is this one going to be your one, or do you expect another one?
I didn't expect this one. They usually happen around the summer, fall time more so than early in the year like this.
So, Pill Poppers, in case you don't remember, Amara La Negra, who is on Love and Hip Hop Miami now, she's a Afro-Latina singer and performer, came on the Breakfast Club. And she talked with Charlamagne, and there were some people that watched the interview that thought that you weren't receptive enough to her claims and her issues, that she was kind of talking about colorism, and that you and Envy specifically acted like colorism wasn't a thing.
No, that wasn't the case. I think that we were conflating two different issues. I think, she was talking about colorism that happens in Latin America. Absolutely 100% agree with that. Colorism that happens in society of America, absolutely 100% agree with that. But I think that the issue got conflated when I was talking about colorism in Hollywood. And I specifically said, like, I don't even really see that in Hollywood anymore. I said, I think that things are changing a lot.
Right.
I didn't say things were changed.
Right.
I said, I think things are changing. So when you started hearing me name these women, the Issa Raes and Tiffany Haddish or whoever, there's all of these different women that are prospering, I was talking about colorism in Hollywood. I mean, even somebody like Amara La Negra, she's prospering right now because of her look.
Yeah.
It's because she has, the dark skin and because she had the afro. Her look is what's making her stand out and be unique. So clearly things are changing. Not changed, but changing, specifically in Hollywood. We were talking about Hollywood, but I think people feel like I was talking about society at large.
When you... Because we have a lot of conversations about what it is that you do not know. There's a lot of people that expect people to know certain things.
Jesus Christ, man. Make me sound like the stupidest motherfucker.
That's not what I'm saying.
Charlamagne, we have a lot of conversations about the shit you don't know.
No, I said that
you don't
we
know
don't
shit.
know. I said what we... I didn't say what you don't know. I said what we don't know.
Got you.
And I think that sometimes people get caught up in being incredulous when it is that when someone doesn't know something, they think that they should know.
Yes, absolutely, especially in this era. So how do you do it? Because in the Amara La Negra interview, there are people that are saying rather than assert what you thought that you knew, you should have been asking her more questions. I was asking questions. Y'all didn't like the questions I asked. Like when I said to her, are you sure it's not all in your head? I wasn't.
Think about that, though.
I get it.
But put yourself in the different. I'm not trying to convince you that you were, but think about that question, the way that question is phrased, because if we're sitting and having a round table right now with a bunch of white people and they're telling us about racism, they look at you go, nigga, you sure it's not all in your head?
I totally understand how that came off, but and I told you this already. The reason I asked her that question is because of my experiences as a black man in the entertainment industry.
Word.
And I specifically told you about, a meeting I had with a president of a major network, and I'm sitting in the meeting and we having a conversation, and he's running down my resume, and he's a white man, and he goes, "Boy, you doing good."
Yeah, you told me about that.
And I'm like, in that moment, I'm like,
is this nigga tripping?
Does he mean like boy? like white racist word? Michael Evans would be disappointed in me?
When you said that to me, what was my response?
You was like, "Oh, fuck
I
no.
was, nah, dog.
Never, ever.
Never.
But in my mind, I'm like, am I in my head right now? Or did he really just call me a boy? And that's and by the way, that's just a natural thought process that most black people in America have in these situations, because we always waiting on a white motherfucker to try us.
Right, yeah.
And that's just the truth to the matter. And that's something I don't even think white people understand. Like when we walk in the room, we're walking in the room as black men who feel like we got to defend a whole community of people.
Before you even get there, I feel like my blackness assaults.
There you go. So when I asked her that question, it was based off my experiences in the entertainment industry. Sadly, when you're in the room with three people and everybody's asking questions, I didn't get a chance to explain that, and that's my fault. I got to be a better communicator than that. Right. I can't just say things like that and leave them out there for people just to, figure out what I said. So that was my fault.
So there's something right now, because we have a lot of conversations and we agree, but I like it better when we disagree, because that's just the way my brain works. We disagree on something pretty big right now.
What is it?
The Dr. King Dodge Ram commercial.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't know if we disagree. You said that you don't like his voice.
This is what I said.
Being used for the Dodge Ram
I'll say it right now. I say, to me, I don't like hearing a Dr. King speech and seeing all of this stuff with his voice, and then at the end it's saying, "Buy a Ram truck." To me, it seems a little bit weird. It's off-putting.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
When the last time you listened to a Dr. King speech before you heard it on Super Bowl Sunday?
That's fair.
You know what I'm saying? And by the way, Tidal put up a playlist of Dr. King speeches.
But I was about to say, I listened to him on his birthday.
Okay.
Because Tidal had him on his thing.
Okay.
I guess, and we should say what your position on this is. Your position is that
my position
a lot of people were upset, and you didn't think it was that big of a deal.
I didn't even see it. I was sitting on the couch watching the Super Bowl, and I saw the thing come on the screen that said on February 4th, 1968, Martin Luther King Jr. gave the speech. I forget the name of the speech. It was the 50-year anniversary of the speech.
Speech was about serving.
It was about serving.
How you can be great as a human being.
Yeah, it had a name, though.
I can't remember the name of it. Yeah. To be honest with you, I'm going to be real with you. I had never heard that speech before the commercial.
I had heard the service part before.
Okay.
I did hear the service part before. But it was the 50-year anniversary of the speech. And I'm thinking, it's Black History Month. The Super Bowl was played on February 4th. I was like, oh, this is very thought out.
Right.
Like this was initially what I thought. I didn't even know it was a truck commercial literally until the next day.
Wait, did you not see the end of the commercial?
I was caught up in Martin Luther King Jr.'s speech.
Wait. So the commercial was so dope, you didn't see Ram.
I didn't pay no attention.
Serve.
Maybe I went into the kitchen to go grab another chicken wing. I don't know what the fuck I did, but I was listening, and I was listening to him talk about service and servitude, and it was showing all of these different service people, and I was like, oh, that's dope that they paid homage to Martin Luther King on the Super Bowl. It wasn't until the next day when everybody was like, oh, the Dodge Ram commercial with Martin Luther King Jr. I was like, oh shit, that was a Dodge Ram commercial.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it,
right.
But it's like, I just thought it was dope that they was paying homage to Martin Luther King Jr. on the 50th year anniversary of that speech. It's not like he was selling motherfucking cigarettes or beer or Hennessy.
But do you think that there's got to be some bone in your body that thinks that there's something distasteful about taking a speech about service with Dr. King and turning it essentially into consumerism?
Well, that was the better argument that I think people should have had, because in that same speech, he talks out against consumerism and capitalism. That would have been that was a better argument to me than just saying, oh, his vocals shouldn't be used for stuff like that. Listen, man, I'm a stern believer of putting the medicine in the candy. Right. And I think now more than ever in this era, we do have to find a way to get that old wisdom into the ears of these young motherfuckers. Because they need it. Like, we were listening to I Have a Dream speeches just because they were coming on CBS on Martin Luther King
They
weekend.
did it on the Cosby
On the Cosby show. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think these kids are getting that information.
By the way, are we allowed to say the Cosby Show? Are we allowed to have fond memories of the Cosby Show?
Yes. Why can't we love Heathcliff Huxtable?
So you can still love Heathcliff Huxtable, right?
He was a character.
Right.
I ain't say I love Bill Cosby.
Charlamagne, I don't know if we can like Heathcliff Huxtable.
Listen, if Lena Waithe can still love Different World, and her production company is called Hillman Grad Productions, Bill Cosby's alma mater, by the way. All right. Or Heathcliff Huxtable's alma mater.
Huxtable's,
We
yeah.
can love
So
the
fictional
Cosby Show.
universe. Okay, well, listen, I'm just making sure because what we're going to do right now is we're going to say that we have fond memories of the Cosby Show, and then somebody's going to get all pissed about it. I'm
Why?
Sure, you know.
Those fond memories don't go away because Bill Cosby is alleged to be a serial rapist.
Right.
Like, those fond memories don't go away. Like, I can't forget how I felt about a situation. Like, you can, like, it's just like when a team violates in the NCAA and you take all their championships. No, motherfucker, I saw the game.
I know, but
I saw the game.
I get it, but the banners do come down though.
That's a fact, but
So
we
do you
still
think
saw
that,
the game.
Do you think that Cosby's banners? I guess let me ask you like this: a lot of these situations we're dealing with in this era of allegation, I call it. We're in the era of allegation.
Yeah.
How much of this stuff completely erases the legacy of people? And how much of this stuff is an indictment on the cultures that allowed it to go on? Like, when we talk about this, I get that Weinstein is an animal. I get that these guys are animals. But how much are we at fault? How much is everyone that was involved at fault? Like, how do we start to separate those?
I don't think we're at fault at all because, I mean, me and you, we just consumers at the end of the day. We weren't having drinks with Harvey Weinstein.
But the city was.
The city was, but that's their fault. They was aware of that behavior and they said nothing about it.
Right.
And that's usually what happens when you let shit just build up, it eventually explodes.
Right.
And that's what we're seeing right now. We're seeing an explosion. Because you trying to tell me that Hollywood didn't know what was going on all of these years? You think the music industry didn't know what was going on all of these years? All of them are involved because all of them probably was doing it too.
Right.
So now it's just like, all right, you take the fall. Don't you bring us all down with you, goddammit.
Yeah, I mean, for
All
real.
right? Because that's all it looks like to me.
Dude, I took a picture of Russell Simmons at a Halloween party one time, and I put it up on Instagram, and they destroyed me for it.
I mean, the thing with Russell, man, Russell is a. I mean, all of these cases, but especially guys like Russell, like people that we actually know, are interesting to me because, and I've said this since Cosby, taking away due process is very, 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 very dangerous. And there is no due process in the court of public opinion.
Well, and there shouldn't be.
And there shouldn't be, but court of public opinion shouldn't try you and convict you either and cause you to lose your motherfucking job or cause you to have to step down from somewhere, like cause you to lose an endorsement deal because of public opinion, because of he say, she say. Like, when are we gonna get some real proof on the table for a lot of these situations?
Okay, so here's the quandary with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we have to protect victims, right? The
Absolutely.
victims are the ones that really deserve the protection.
Absolutely.
If, in fact, someone feels that they've been wronged, the moment that they say that, what is the public supposed to do? When the public looks at it, right? First of all, if it's a one-on-one situation that he said, she said, that's kind of like the Aziz Ansari thing, right? And that could kind of go either way. But at the point that 50 women, 40 women, 30 women, 20 women have made allegations, it's very difficult to,
Listen,
you know what I'm saying?
I agree with you, but I mean, if you're really trying to take down powerful people, you can put some things together. Did you hear the guy today that tried to extort Charlie Walk? Did you hear that audio?
No, I did not.
Oh, nobody heard that audio?
No.
The guy called Charlie Walk's phone and basically told him either you step down and he basically was weaponizing the Me Too movement.
Right.
That's basically what he said. He weaponized the Me Too movement, and he said, if you don't do this and this, I have these women ready to come forward for you to step down. It was like an extortion plot because Charlie Walker's saying he's being extorted, and he had the voicemail to kind of prove it. Right. And I'm like, yo, that can possibly happen. Where people can take this real movement, this real shift in our culture and weaponize it just for personal vendettas because they know that the allegations are enough to take somebody out. Just the mere allegation is enough to take somebody out. That's dangerous.
I read a tweet from a woman, and I think I showed you that tweet on the group chat. We talked about it on the group chat. Where the woman said, listen, if a couple of innocent guys have to go down for us to get to a better understanding and a better footing in society, I don't care.
Yikes. I don't agree
See,
with
she said, that's what she said.
I saw that. I remember that.
So listen, on its face, that seems preposterous, right? But let me put it to you this way. If let's say that you could eliminate racism completely from the face of the earth, but a couple of innocent non-racists had to go down for it, would you be down for that?
I really don't know, to be totally honest. But I will say I would be, because I think that's how God works in a lot of situations. Meaning that when it's natural disasters, you know what I'm saying? Innocent people do get killed.
But we come together as a society.
Yeah, or even, I mean, if you believe in drone strikes, you got to kind of believe in the Me Too Time's Up movement, right? Right? If you're not against drone strikes, because you know that some of those insurgents are just innocent people over there minding their business that don't have nothing to do.
Some of them are janitors that are working.
That's what I'm saying. Listen, I'm all for the Time's Up Me Too movement. I think that eventually we are going to get to a place where we can organize things correctly. Right now, it's just a real messy closet.
You think that it's irresponsible the way it's being conducted in some cases?
I can't necessarily say if it's irresponsible, because it's just something new. We've never seen this before. This is literally like a purge.
Right.
Like, it's a culture shift. I don't remember a culture shift in our society. Like, I didn't grow up in the civil rights era. You know what I'm saying? Like, this feels like a real live culture shift. Like, it's gonna be a better place for women after this. And as a man with 2 daughters, I'm all for that. You know? So I just think right now it's just like a real messy closet. Like, clothes are everywhere. Like, you know how you get a lot of free promo shit. So I'm sure your room and your closet looks crazy, because you're always getting a bunch of shit.
I never got nothing free.
Yeah, right. You're always getting a bunch of shit and just throwing it all over the place. But eventually somebody's gonna go in there and organize that closet, and they're gonna put the hoodies with the hoodies, and the pants with the pants, and the sweaters with the sweaters. Because right now everything's being thrown together. The Weinsteins are with the Azizes, and the Azizes are with the Cosbys. Like, oh, wait a minute now. It's like, wait, I don't think this is necessarily rape, and this isn't necessarily. Let's organize this. I think eventually that's gonna happen.
So the Super Bowl just passed. We talked about that. You watched the game, I'm assuming.
Yes, I did.
So you did not boycott the NFL this year.
I told you I wasn't boycotting the NFL.
No, we talked about it.
We had this conversation.
But there's a lot of people that still tell me all the time that I can't both support Colin Kaepernick and watch the NFL at the same time.
That's absolutely fundamentally not true.
Tell me why.
Because you say somebody like Diddy was at the game, right? Diddy is somebody that we know for a fact has had conversations with Colin Kaepernick. He's donated to Colin Kaepernick. Diddy gave $150,000 to the Breakfast Club when we did our radiothon, our Change for Change, and we raised money for the Gathering for Justice movement, which is a fiscal sponsor of Colin Kaepernick's Know Your Rights camp. So Diddy gave $150,000 to that, and when Colin was doing his $1 million pledge, Diddy donated to that as well. So we know Diddy is out here being vocal, and we know Diddy is putting his money where his mouth is. Diddy has a freaking charter school in Harlem, for God's sake. So how you gonna be mad at him because he went to the NFL? See, the problem is we as black people have to realize that we're not a monolith, and that we all have different methods. But if we all have the same goal, that's all we should be focused on. That's what happened with Martin and Malcolm back in the day. They would have done way more together, as opposed to, chastising each other for the way they do things. You know, Malcolm was always calling Martin Luther King Jr. and Uncle Tom and a coon and the white man's nigga. But who got more done, Malcolm or Martin? When it came to legislation, Martin Luther King Jr. There is no Civil Rights Act of 1964 without Martin Luther King Jr. And I love Malcolm.
I think Malcolm X is a transcendent.
I think you needed Malcolm.
You had to have him, right?
You needed the
shining black man.
It's the yin and the yang.
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with this radical Negro Malcolm, so I'm gonna deal with Martin Luther King Jr.
Specifically to the NFL, though, do you think that there's anything to be gained by an NFL boycott? Because as we speak right now, Colin Kaepernick has not been signed by an NFL team, and it's very unlikely that he ever will be. The people that call for the boycott, do you feel like they were wrongheaded?
No, I don't think they were wrongheaded. I just think it's a lot of layers to it. I mean, number one, it's a lot of brothers in the NFL that we know are on the right side of history. You know, the Michael Bennett's and those guys. Those guys are using the money they get from the NFL.
Eric Reed,
Malcolm Jenkins. They're empowering the black community with their dollars. You know what I'm saying? Like they're giving black people jobs. Like they're fighting the good fight. Like, and we need economic empowerment. So how do I just say F those brothers? You know what I'm saying? Like, don't those brothers deserve our support? Like, those brothers are taking knees and shit, too. Like, they're out there still protesting, fighting a good fight, saying Colin Kaepernick need to be signed. So shouldn't we be supporting them in some way, shape, or form?
Do you think that the NFL has been in any way exposed as a racist organization?
Yeah, which is also very tricky because Colin Kaepernick gets signed. So then we turn our blind eye to the blatant racism that the NFL shown just because Colin got signed?
Right.
Don't you think that's kind of some sucker shit?
It is. My question is, as black people, when we know, first of all, not even black people, because let's broaden it, because I don't know too many white people that would support something that they thought was out and out racist. I mean, once you educate, the only thing you can do for people that you're trying to bring on your side of something is educate them to what's going on.
Oh, explain that again. So you don't think it's too many white people?
There's a lot of white people that I know that if they knew 1,000% that something were racist against me, they would stop supporting it.
Got you.
I know a lot of people like that, right?
Got you.
So, because there's a lot of white people and all kinds of different people that were in on this fight against the NFL and were supporting Colin Kaepernick as well, right? We saw that all over the place. The question is, once we know something is racist, and by the way, I'm not saying this as somebody who boycotted the NFL, I didn't. How do we then make an impact on it to change its practices if we continue to financially support it?
Well, once we know something is racist, then that's when we completely pull the plug. That's why I was like, when Colin Kaepernick when he still, with his lawsuit against the NFL, I was hoping that he could prove that. And we had this conversation. I was like, yo, if he can prove real racial bias and they pull up
like
emails.
Actual collusion and stuff like that.
Then we like, God damn.
Now we got a problem.
Now it's really difficult to watch goddamn football on Sunday. Now it's like I can't. But listen, we asking too much of ourselves as well because the players, them black brothers in the league, if Colin was to find this out and find out that the NFL is truly indeed a racist organization, they got to make a stand.
Yeah.
They're the ones that got way more to lose than we do. All we got to do is turn off the TV.
Right.
They're the ones that got to be like, nah, I'm not playing. I'm not fucking with y'all no more. I'm not playing this sport no more. I'm not playing for y'all racist motherfuckers no more. And I think that would have way more impact than us turning off the television, by the way.
So for you, last year or two, you've come a little ways. You've gone from being an entertainer to like a voice. I would say this is happening in 2 years. You've gone from being somebody who made us all laugh, which you still do, but to being somebody that people look to for actual wisdom. Right? They want to know what you think on a specific issue, so they want to know how maybe they should be thinking on it, or how or what's trending as far as your mindset is concerned. What has that been like? What is it like going from the guy who would get a Love and Hip Hop star on the show to having Hillary Clinton on the show? Like, is there an extra little bit of responsibility that you feel?
I think with any form of power comes responsibility, right? And I remember Chuck D tweeted one time. He said something to the effect of, whenever I'm confused about something, I go get Charlamagne's take on it. I'm like, this is fucking Chuck D from Public Enemy tweeting this about me. But it's like it's a responsibility that I don't want to think about. And the reason I say that is because when you start thinking about it, then you start thinking that you got some type of crown. And you start thinking that, your word is really bond. And you start thinking that, what you say actually matters in the grand scheme of things. And I don't feel that important. I'm just a human being trying to figure life out. And, as I grow and as I gain more experiences, I'm just sharing those experiences with my people. Right. Simple as that.
Do you now feel more pressure in any way to be a certain way?
Nah, not at all. Because, at the end of the day, the easiest thing is always to be yourself. Right. And, so if you hear me sometimes and I may sound confused about something, it's because I am. You know what I'm saying? I'm a constant work in progress. That never stops. And I'm not afraid to reveal that to the world. See, we live in this society where social media makes everybody believe their own illusions of perfection. Because you can post just the right picture on Instagram and do the research and say just the right thing on Twitter, but that's not the reality of life. The reality of life is we fuck up. The reality of life is we make mistakes. Right. But nobody's willing to show people the mistakes nowadays. I'm not afraid to make the mistakes. I'm not afraid to say I don't know. Even at this level where I'm a nationally syndicated radio personality on 80 markets in 100 countries, I don't care if you call me stupid.
Did y'all catch that? Did y'all just catch Charlamagne talking this shit right there?
Actually, 150 countries.
Did y'all catch? I just want to make sure y'all, because he does that, because he's a humble dude, but he drops that shit in very, very subtly.
But that's just a fact.
I'm saying.
Like, I didn't make any of that up.
I know, but the way you came off with those stats, you stunting on us.
That's a fact.
I feel you, though. I got you.
But if I imagine having that in your mind every day, I'm talking that 80 different markets in America and 150
It would change
countries.
the way you present things.
And
you might
that's
start
whack.
preaching to the choir.
That's whack.
Yeah.
I don't want to be like, and that's what I hate about this era. Everybody's preaching to the motherfucking choir.
Yeah.
Like, if somebody's telling you exactly what you want to hear all the time, somebody's lying. People are afraid of that social media backlash. They're afraid to get on social media and ask a question, are afraid to get on social media and really say what they think about something because they don't want everybody attacking them and calling them stupid and this and that. Who cares? Mm-hmm. I'm not afraid to make mistakes, and I'm not afraid to grow in front of people.
What do you feel like the most unpopular opinion you have is? What do you think that, a way that you think and you know nobody fucking agrees?
I really don't know. I mean,
because when we talk about against the grain, there are certain things, you know, that pop up with me, with my worldview, and I know people don't agree with me. I know they don't agree with me. And it's almost sometimes when you get those thoughts, you feel like you shouldn't think them. But the ones that are truly revolutionary and out of the box are actually the ones that you should be thinking. Yeah. So for you, there's nothing that you just think, man, like, you know, that's really crazy. Let me put that in the closet.
Nah, it's not, because I'm not that type of, like, I'm not a malicious person. Like, I'm not ever thinking anything that I feel like is gonna hurt somebody. Like, what I truly, really want to do is bring people together. You know what I mean? Right. I got a lot of Martin in me where I say I really want to live in a world where people are judged by, you know, the content of their character, not the color of their skin. I even, you know, evolve it in 2018 and say color of skin, sexuality, religion, or gender. Like, I just like good people at the end of the day. And I think that good people need to come together and fuck people need to die.
Right.
Like, it's not difficult. Like, who can't agree with that worldview? Who can't agree with that? That good people need to come together and all the fucked up people in the world just need to die.
Let me...
What's wrong with that worldview?
I'll fuck with it. Maybe a little bit of compassion for the fuck people.
Yeah, fuck them.
No compassion for the fuck people.
No, man. We gotta, and that's one thing that we have to start doing. We have to start treating racists like they're the scum of the earth. Start treating homophobes like they're the scum of the earth. Start treating sexist, misogynistic people like they're the scum of the earth. Like, we have to start shaming these people. Make them feel bad about their behavior.
And make them examples to the rest of society so they know what happens when you're that type of person.
Angela Rye always screams, this is not normal.
Right.
We have to start saying that. This is not normal. If you hate somebody just for being, you're not normal.
Word.
Like, you hate me just for being?
Yeah.
I didn't ask to be
it's
black.
It's fucking crazy when you think about it.
Yeah, this person didn't ask to be gay. Like, she didn't ask to be born a woman. Like, you just hate me for being.
Right.
Fuck you. Ship them to Worldstar Island.
What goes on? Wait. What goes on Worldstar Island?
If you've ever been on Worldstar, you can.
Oh, that's what happens.
All of those.
That's crazy. Think about a whole island.
Yes.
With just Worldstar shit popping.
That
all the
wouldn't
time.
scare you.
That's fucking. Frightening.
Think about the concept. We from the South, so we grew up believing in heaven and hell and stuff like that. Think about how this fictional place called hell that nobody's ever been to tell us exists scared us to death to act right. Imagine if we actually had a goddamn Worldstar Island where we would send you if you were a fuck person.
With Tekashi 69.
Woo, and Boonk and all of them.
Boonk? Can you imagine Boonk?
You would act right.
You straighten up.
You
quick,
would
man.
act right.
What do you think about that new generation when you're talking about? What do you think about the tattoos on their face, the Kashi 69s and the bunks and all the rainbow-haired young kids coming up, cutting up, man?
I'm conflicted on that because, you know,
because every generation had they wilding out.
Absolutely.
Every generation had they wilding
out. Like,
out.
you don't want to sound like the old man in the club. Like, I don't understand what these young kids are doing because my father was the same way.
You know what the crazy is? You know what the crazy thing is though? I really don't understand.
And that's fine.
Like, it's not that I'm acting like I don't understand because I wish everybody was like Nas. It's like I've tried to understand it, and I really sincerely don't.
Well, you know how our fathers felt, because my father used to think about how crazy Method Man bring the pain videos. Think about Method Man and all his grimy friends on the train, hair half braided out, the white eyeball in, think about how crazy that shit was.
My dad saw that video with Method Man, and he was like, "Why is hair like that?" And I was like, "Cause it's only half braided." He goes, "Well, why ain't braided the other half?"
Exactly. Meth had the white contact lens in. Redman would walk around with the snot rag hanging out his nose.
Yes,
They had the gold fangs. It was a bunch of wild shit that we did in our era too. And our parents used to look at it like, "You out your goddamn mind?"
Yeah.
My father, when I used to have a big ass afro, and I used to wear the Oakland Raiders sweatshirt or the Los Angeles Raiders at the time, and I have on my green cross colored jeans and my Chuck Taylors. And when I started really getting in trouble, my father was like, "Oh, you cutting that goddamn afro? You think you Snoop?
Right?
You think you Snoop Doggy Dog? You think you Snoop, huh? Boy got a goddamn murder charge, and you want to be like motherfucking Snoop Dogg,
right?"
And he made me cut my hair.
Right.
So they used to look at our generation just as crazy. So I'm just looking at these kids now, and I'm like, wow. But the one thing that scares me is I don't feel like they have the morals, the values, the integrity, the spiritual foundation that we had. Like, these dudes is talking about worshiping the devil. Like, they just seem evil. We didn't seem evil.
There's also another difference is this, and once again, I'm not trying to sound like the old dude, but I think that social media has thrown a monkey wrench into this that wasn't available, that wasn't there in the 90s and in the 80s. When all of those guys were doing what they were doing, sure, they look crazy, but they were trying to make records and get their art out. Very true. Now, dudes are going in stores, knocking all the shit off the shelves to get likes on social media. There's really nothing redeeming to it.
Well, that's our fault. We rewarding the fuck shit.
Yeah.
We reward the fuck shit. Like why does that little Cash Me Outside girl have a record deal? Why?
She got one song that's popping up.
Shut up.
She got one. I'm sorry. She got one song. It's called "Bye Bitch" or something like that.
Yeah, that's what we need to say to her. Bye, bitch. We need you to get the fuck out of here. Go to some charm school classes. All right, keep your little ass in school and get an education. Like, she don't need a record deal. She need a beating.
Let me ask you this: How come y'all haven't had her? How come y'all haven't had her on the Breakfast Club?
Never.
Yet?
And when I had that request last year. And I don't even remember who sent me the request. They was like, "Hey, Charlamagne, would you be interested in having?"
So let's get this straight.
Yeah.
It was asked by her people to come on the Breakfast Club.
Absolutely.
And you said no.
I said NOPE, period.
Right.
Nope.
What was your reason?
Because I'm not rewarding that kind of behavior.
Right.
Like, she literally went on Dr. Phil and was disrespectful to Dr. Phil.
Right.
And that's why she's garnering all this attention? Like, no, it's people out there that got real talent busting their motherfucking ass just to get on, to get noticed, to get a chance to be in front of an A&R to perform, and they don't get that opportunity. But she got a whole record deal. I gave the person who gave her that record deal Donkey of the Day. I can't remember his name. I think it's Mike Karen.
Oh, over at Atlantic.
At Atlantic.
Yeah.
Like, you get Donkey of the Day for that, because to me, you're just contributing a whole bunch of negativity into the culture. And it makes other kids feel like, oh shit, I can be disrespectful and, talk back to my parents and get a record deal too. What are we rewarding?
Yeah, you know what? It's funny that you bring that up, because I saw, and I hate to be negative, I saw did you see India Love's rap video?
No, and I meant to watch it because she's fine.
She's so fine.
Oh, she's beautiful.
She's so fine.
She's bad.
So let's think of this. So India Love is super fine, right? So as fine as she is, that is how bad of a rapper she is.
Well, that's your fault for actually listening to the song. You should have watched the video on mute.
I can't though, because it's on my it just scrolled through the timeline. I listened to it. I was curious, dog. So my thing is this: she's only got a lane, okay, because of Cardi B. So
True.
This is my thing. I don't have any problem with Cardi B's. Any problem with Cardi B herself. But all the fake Cardi B's now are about to ruin the world.
Yeah, and you know what's so sad about them? They don't realize that Cardi B
is a transcendent star.
Absolutely. Cardi B has that certain je ne sais quoi star quality.
Right.
It's something that you're just born with. Some people have it, some people don't. I don't care how much media training you get, how many etiquette classes they give you. You either got it or you don't. Cardi has star power. Right. I saw that 6 years ago when she was just on Instagram, when nobody knew who she was, when she was 19 years old. I'm like, yo, this girl is a star. They used to think I was trolling. And I'd be like, Cardi B for president.
We argued about it. I didn't see it then
She's a star, man. And listen, to be honest with you, rap ain't even gonna be Cardi's thing. Cardi gonna pop off in Hollywood. It's gonna be television or the film world or something where Cardi really gets that pop.
You mentioned that you didn't let Bad Barbie.
That's her name?
Yeah, Bad Barbie is her name.
Jesus Christ.
Bad Barbie's her name. You didn't let her on to the Breakfast Club. How do you decide? Because we've had this conversation about the Oprah Winfrey Show. I had a problem with Oprah for a long time. And the problem I had with Oprah...
Because you hate black women.
Don't hate black women. Love black women. Don't do that. Because we talked to Tay Diggs last week.
I heard it.
And you talked to Tay Diggs last week. And
you said something really gay to Tay, too, though.
What did I say that was gay?
You told Tay, you said... You got a nice body now.
I didn't say that.
Yes, you
That's
did.
not what I said.
Yes, you did.
Wait.
No. I'm gonna tell you the segue.
No,
the segue was, why'd you have your ass on Instagram?
Right.
And then you was like, you got a nice body
That's
now.
not
You've been working out.
I said I didn't say anything about you having a nice body.
I was like, gay.
What I said was that he been working out. You know what I'm saying?
Man, listen.
When we went to Grenada and you was on the beach, I was like, yo, man, you been in the gym.
Listen, man.
I can't say that.
Just like swag is just a way for a man to call another man sexy and not feel gay about it. Telling a man he been working out after commenting on his bare naked ass picture on Instagram is just another way to call a man sexy without feeling uncomfortable about it. I understand, man.
I was just telling him, this is my man.
If you think the man got a nice ass, he got a nice ass.
He's working out. Anyway, my question to you is, Bad Barbie didn't come on. How do you make the decision of who you're going to talk to, who you're not going to talk to? The reason why I brought up Oprah was because for a long time, I resented Oprah because she wouldn't have rappers on her show. And the problem that I had with that, I know that Oprah was well within her right to find some of the content in the music objectionable, to find the depiction of women in rap to be deplorable, and to overall not want to be a part of what she feels like was putrid and destructive to the black community. That's what she thought hip-hop was, right? So she doesn't want to have those guys on her show. I thought, though, that she missed an opportunity to bridge a gap between two people who never get to talk. Oprah's demographic was pretty much everyone, right? She had the soccer moms, she had the intellectuals, she had everybody from every part of the country. And those are the people that I felt like misunderstood young black Americans the most. Those are the people we don't get to talk to. Those are the people we don't get to share ideas with. Those are the people that never see us until we're portrayed on the evening news or in other negative ways. And Oprah, even if she challenged them, could have humanized a lot of these young men to an audience that didn't get to see them. She's gone now. She's doing her thing, and she's since kind of come around a little bit. But now, places like The Breakfast Club are the new Oprah Winfrey shows. And you guys are the ones that have the power to have conversations with people that are going to change minds. How do you make the decision of who's going to come on that platform and who is not?
Well, for me, it's just about who has an audience. You know, if I see that someone has an audience, meaning someone has, contributed some type of art that people are gravitating towards, not a stunt. Not some moment you're being noticed for, but I'm talking about like some type of actual art, music or a TV show or online sketches, anything like that. I'll give you an opportunity to have a conversation, and I just feel like somebody like Bad Barbie, she hasn't contributed anything. Right. Even if she had displayed some changed behavior.
Right.
She wasn't that wild girl no more, and she was trying to transition into being a real artist. Maybe that's worth a conversation because I want to see where the evolution came from. But just rewarding her because she was wilding on Dr. Phil and now she got a record deal because of it? No. So for me, it's just about who has an audience and who's really trying to do something in this artistic realm, so to speak.
You get a call tomorrow, and the call comes from the White House. President Trump wants to come on the Breakfast Club. Do you take that interview?
No. I'm not doing that because I don't see the need at this point. Like we've seen, when somebody shows you who they are, we should believe them. Like what am I going to say to convince that 70-year-old cracker that white supremacy is wrong? You know what I'm saying? What am I going to do to convince him that homophobia is wrong? Like what am I going to say to him that's going to get through to him? That is an old man set in his ways. It is pointless to have a conversation with him. And guess what? If I did bring him on, I'll be like, look, you have to have I'll bring him on, but I'm gonna bring Maxine Waters to come speak to him, since you're avoiding people like that. I'm going to bring Representative John Lewis on. Or I'm going to really scare the white man and bring the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan on to scare him.
Can you imagine the look on Trump's face if you surprised him with Farrakhan? Because Farrakhan don't even walk. He just floats on the air. If he just floated into the room to Trump.
Imagine the FOI facing off
everybody with the Secret Service right there. That might be the start of it right there.
See, we got something then, but like, seriously, what's the point of me having a conversation with Trump?
Well, listen, there's two ways. I'm gonna be real with you. If they call me, I will put them on here, and the reason why I will put them on here
because Harvey supports him.
Listen, first of all, Harvey has turned away from Trump.
Oh yeah,
he has.
Oh, okay.
He said on air that he hates Trump.
Really? I missed that one.
Which he said it.
Y'all should have did a story on that.
We should have. Well, I mean, listen, you can hate the dude all you want after he's in the White House. I guess it doesn't matter at that point. Maybe you should have hated him a little earlier. But my thing is, I think right now I would do it because coming from the platform of wanting to expose exactly what it is that Donald Trump doesn't know on an issue-by-issue basis.
But we know he's an idiot.
I get it.
Like, what do you get out of beating up on a retarded kid, man? No, seriously. If you walked into a special needs class right now and started beating up on I'm gonna say special needs. If you walked into a special needs classroom and started beating up on him, even if the kid was bigger than you,
right?
Even if this kid was bigger than you,
right,
and stronger than you, but you just started beating him up,
right,
you don't get no props for that. Why are you beating up on the special needs kid? That's exactly how it is talking to Donald Trump.
So you wouldn't do that.
Exposing Donald Trump for what he doesn't know. We know he don't know shit.
Right.
Like, what's the point of that?
Yeah, I just, I think because, we had the conversation going back to something that we used to talk about all the time is engaging people that we don't agree with.
Yeah.
There's no one who I vehemently disagree with more than Donald Trump. But isn't there something to be said, or am I wrong? Do some Americans just not realize how stupid some of these people are?
Yeah, and I mean, we've had this conversation before, and I'm sure this has been going on since the beginning of time. It's this whole idea of engagers and resistors, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you need the engagers like Martin Luther King Jr. to go talk to John F. Kennedy and Lyndon B. Johnson and try to get legislation done. But then you also need the resistors. You need the Nation of Islam. You need the Black Panthers, the people who are like, F that, we don't want to be a part of this system. We want our own. And I think we initially had that thought process with Trump, until we realize, this is something that we've never, at least our generation, has never seen before. What do we gain from engaging with somebody who clearly does not want to engage with us? Mm-hmm. We are not in Donald Trump's plans. Right. Black people aren't. Jewish people aren't. Gay people aren't. None of us are women aren't. None of us are in Donald Trump's plans, so why are we engaging with him? Look at the people that he's empowering. When you got these people in Charlottesville walking around saying Jews will not replace us, blacks will not replace us, gays will not replace us, you really want to engage in a conversation with somebody like that? I'd rather talk to one of these young kids that he may be influencing, because we got a better chance of changing their mind and letting them know that the way they're thinking is wrong, as opposed to this 70-year-old cracker-ass cracker, white devil. And the reason I'm using that language is because we have to start calling people like that what they are. Mm-hmm. It's a difference between good white people and racist, bigoted, crack-ass crackers and white devils. And we need some of the good white people. Mm-hmm. Justin Timberlake needs to let a crack-ass cracker fly on some of these crack-ass
Listen,
crackers.
Man, a lot of people not fucking with Justin now, man.
I don't like that.
Why
you don't like Justin?
A lot of people, especially after the Super Bowl performance, think that Justin Timberlake is now sort of the poster child for white privilege because
he's a white man. Of course he is.
What I'm saying is that, think about it, though. You don't think that Justin Timberlake could have more vehemently defended Janet Jackson when she was going through all of her stuff? And to see him perform at the Super Bowl with Janet Jackson is somewhere not able, her career was essentially ruined because of that moment. So a lot of people look at JT and he means well, but he just kind of seems like it's just more of the same.
I think Justin Timberlake is one of the white people who uses their privilege to combat prejudice. That's what I personally think. And Janet could have been at the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
She chose not to be at the Super Bowl this year.
Right.
Like, I can tell you from a reliable source that was absolutely something that was in the works, that was supposed to happen, but for whatever reason, Janet opted not to do it.
She didn't want to do it.
So, I mean, you can't. Do you fault somebody for trying to make something right? Mm-hmm. And by the way, what was Justin supposed to do back then? Like, what was he? What did y'all want from Justin back then when Janet's titty was revealed?
I mean, dog, I would assume that if me and you did something, and remember, Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake were friends. They weren't just people that were performing together. They were friends.
Rumor has it.
Exactly.
Rumor has it they were fucking.
Right. They were friends.
Yeah.
So I would assume that if I was in a situation with a friend where we did something together, and that friend was taking I was taking the full brunt of the consequences for that somebody else would step in and go, yo, I was there too, at the very least.
Correct me if I'm wrong, because my mind isn't what it used to be, but I remember during that time the FCC coming down on everybody. Like it was like the
recorded apology, the recorded apology, the whole fall on your face, the entire that was all Janet Jackson.
Yeah, but wasn't it it was almost like the Me Too movement in a way, because they were coming after Howard Stern. That's when Howard first started making the transition to satellite, because he was like, I'm tired of radio. They for whatever reason, the FCC got real strict.
Things got a little bit strict because they saw a black woman's titty on TV.
So it was after that.
It was right. So things got a little bit more strict because a breast was flashed at the Super Bowl, which is unconscionable.
But it wasn't even a whole breast.
It was the nipple and a ring and a nice star.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But my point is that, whether or not he could have done more or not, it seemed like he white-boyed her a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I don't even remember that situation wholeheartedly back then. I just remember bugging, like, why are they tripping off a titty we didn't even really see? I didn't see no areola. You saw areola?
Dog, I did.
Oh.
Yeah, remember.
I got to go back and watch it.
I did, because I had TiVo, and I froze that motherfucker.
It's Janet Jackson.
Yeah.
But if that is the case, I do see where Justin should have stepped up more. And by the way, based off what we've seen now in 2018, that was sexual assault. Like, let's change the narrative a little bit. Justin Timberlake sexually assaulted Janet Jackson in 2004, and for whatever reason, America victim blamed Janet Jackson. All right.
Oh,
we need to talk. We need to really have a conversation with Justin about that.
If you got Justin Timberlake on the Breakfast Club,
absolutely, we need to have a real in-depth conversation, because I was younger than this. I don't really remember that whole situation.
What you mean?
Just in general, like I don't remember the backlash. I don't remember exactly what the backlash was for, because I thought both of them were in trouble.
Well, they were theoretically they were both in trouble. They were supposed to, but really she took it all. She took it all. It really kind of it ruined her. Why haven't you had him? It ruined her.
Justin's been there twice. Justin's been to the Breakfast Club twice.
It ruined her.
It did.
It without a doubt.
Penny from Good Times.
Took it without a doubt.
Janet
took a chunk out of Janet Jackson's ass, without a doubt, dog.
I never looked at Janet any other way.
You didn't.
Her legacy never changed.
Her legacy hasn't. Her legacy can't change.
I mean, Beyonce came along.
Beyonce came along, but Janet was out of that. But Janet actually took a major step back after all of that. The whole nation was calling Janet Jackson a whore, man. It was
really.
What the hell were you doing at this time?
I don't remember that, because I remember.
What the?
I remember Janet with Jermaine, and that was a big deal.
That was a big
shit. Jermaine.
Think about that. Think about that. She was in such bad trouble with America that she fucked Jermaine Dupri.
Stop it. I'm not going to act. Jermaine's a cool dude, man. He's a fly dude. Jermaine can bag a bad chick. Listen,
Jermaine's back more bad chicks.
You know why Jermaine got Janet?
Why?
Because he had the confidence to speak to her.
Right.
Janet is so beautiful and so iconic that she probably went to plenty of club wanting some dick and wouldn't nobody talk to her.
Right.
I mean, looking around thinking to herself, I would fuck this shit out of this little motherfucker and that motherfucker. Not even the sexy flexy dude. She just wants some dick, and nobody talked to Janet.
You know what? And if you look like Jermaine Dupri, you probably like, what the fuck?
He like, fuck it, he shot his shot.
Fuck it, yeah.
And got that pussy.
Yeah, he did for a while. And there was rumors that they were back together for a little while, right?
Yeah, they should have never been apart. If you ask me.
So
unless you let her break up and go marry a billionaire and then divorce him 80 right when you get that money.
When you get the money,
and then y'all get back together.
So let me ask you this, bro. We talk a lot about evolution, and we like to finish the podcast with this question. What would the Charlamagne at the beginning of his career just get, because you started off in radio in Columbia?
Charleston, South Carolina.
What year was that?
I started off as an intern in 1998.
Intern in 1998.
It's my 20th year in radio.
So all the people out there that think that you're some sort of overnight success that happened in the last 10 years and whenever you got with Wendy, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
No, right. Not even close.
If that version of you could see this version of you, could see the man that you are today, what do you think that they would say?
I would pat them on the back and say, I told you not to be afraid to make mistakes. And, you know, those mistakes, every mistake that you made you the person you are today and put you in the position that you're in now. Because everything that I thought was a loss was actually just a lesson. And I never, ever, you know, I got fired from radio 4 times. But every time I got fired, I ended up with a better radio position.
It's crazy is you got fired. Rumor is you're wearing a hat right now, right?
Yeah.
So Right Nation had 444 on the side of it. The rumor is that you got fired.
Yeah,
had you fired?
Jay-Z got me fired in Philadelphia. I mean, I don't know if that's true, but when it happened, and this is on record, you can go look at a Vlad TV interview that I did. I said, yo, I don't know if Jay-Z got me fired or not, but it's going to read very well in a book one day. And that book is called Black Privilege. Opportunity Comes to Those Who Create It. It's a New York Times bestseller. It was
My name's in that book. My name's in the New York Times bestseller.
It is. It was on the New York Times bestsellers list for 7 weeks, and the paperback comes out in April.
Word.
Yes.
When's the next book coming?
In the fall of this year. I'm working on it right now.
What's the name of that?
Can I say what the name is yet? I don't think I can say what the name is.
You can't say what the name is, but you
yet.
have a name.
Because the name is coming out in the paperback. When Black Privilege paperback comes out.
Oh, you know what? I know the name of the book.
You know the name of it?
Yeah, we talked about it.
Oh, yeah, duh.
Yeah.
But it's in the paperback, so I can't talk about it until April.
Vlad TV. Any more of those interviews coming?
Nah, I doubt it. I got love for Vlad. Vlad is somebody that always supported me early on. But I just don't like the direction the site is went in.
I feel you.
You know, and it's no knock to him. You know what I'm saying? It's just some things I'm not doing. Like it's certain interviews Vlad does that I turn down.
Word.
Because that's not what I want to contribute to. Like there's absolutely, positively no reason to be interviewing the woman that Tupac allegedly raped. Why? Why are you Me Tooing Tupac? He's dead. He's dead. He served his time.
Now listen.
He paid his debt to society already with that situation. Why are you Me Tooing Tupac?
Now listen, okay. So we asked the question. Now we got to talk about it because that interview is an interview that Vlad did, and that interview also went up on TMZ.com from Vlad's site. Whether or not you think that it's something that needed to be done, and I'm not arguing for the interview right or wrong, do you think that there's anything newsworthy about knowing that account? Being that so many of these things that have happened. Personally, I was not a huge fan of the interview either, okay? But do you think that that interview is basically just par for the course as to how things are going right now? So many of these accounts that go back years and years and years and years. When we're talking about this Bill Cosby shit, some of this shit goes back to the 60s and the 70s, dog. If all of those women are doing interviews, why not this one?
Because the difference is Tupac has always maintained his innocence, but he was found guilty and he did his time. So what is the point of what's the point of number one, her rehashing the story, and what's the point of Vlad giving her a platform to rehash the story? It just seems like it seems cheap, and it seems like a ploy for attention on all parties. It seems like a ploy for attention from the young lady. It seems like a ploy for attention from Vlad TV. And personally, I feel like the Breakfast Club, we don't need that. I don't want no parts of it. Like why? Like the man is dead.
Right.
The man was shot and killed. Why are we trying to revise history or change the narrative of his legacy or, reopen old wounds? There's people out there that probably have never gotten over Tupac being killed, his friends, his family. And now this is what you're doing? Like, and these are it's probably people out there that, and I'm not saying this woman is lying because I don't know, but there's probably people out there that know this woman is lying.
All right.
Like, no. And they're like, why are you giving her a platform to continue to tell this lie even in this man's death? And if she is lying, that's a real piece of shitty to be lying on a dead man at this point. You get I just don't understand. I don't know what the point is.
We should say, everybody can go watch the interview and make their own decisions about it.
And she looks very stupid when she says things like, I put my lips on his dick, but I didn't suck it. Tupac has always said this young lady gave him head on the dance floor, but she says, I put my lips on his dick, but didn't suck it.
Charlamagne the God.
I don't even know how she won. I don't even know how that got over in court. Johnny Cochran would have ate her alive.
Right. Listen,
right?
listen. What I think it's important to say, that for whatever reason, Tupac did serve his time for that. I guess the problem that I had with it, if there was a problem that I had with it, was, there were no questions about it. The Tupac went to jail.
He needed Johnny Cochran.
So
Johnny Cochran would have said in that courtroom, if she put her lips on the dick, you must have quit, and Pac would have been a free man. Okay?
All right, yo, you know what we gonna do? We gonna get Charlamagne up out of here before. I appreciate you today, brother. I know you had a lot to do, man.
Yes, sir.
What are we plugging? Like, what can we?
The paperback for Black Privilege, Opportunity Comes to Those Who Create It. It'll be out in April. I got a new book coming out this year. Keep listening to The Breakfast Club, my nationally syndicated radio show. Oh, and Noriega, my man Nori, his show On the Run Eating starts February 28th on Complex. I'm the executive producer of that. That's been a year and a half process, 2-year process, but we finally got it off the ground. It went from a couple networks, but now it's found a home at Complex. And February 28th, you'll be able to watch all 8 episodes on Complex. And he's, basically the acronym for Nori is Niggas on the Run Eating. And the show is called On the Run Eating.
Word.
And he's going to different restaurants eating with some of your favorite celebrities. So February 28th on Complex, tune in the Nori Show.
All right, cool. We're going to have Charlamagne back again at some point in the future of this podcast. And when we do, we're going to tell a story about how I beat Wax ass in Grenada.
You definitely beat his ass in flip-flops in Grenada.
I beat the trash out of Wax.
Oh, you talking about in boxing?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Oh.
I missed that whole.
Well, the flip-flops basketball thing, we've already been over that. But I'm about to whip his ass again. I appreciate it.
Can I say one real thing real quick?
What's up?
I just want to, when it comes to the whole colorism thing,
sure, yeah.
I love taking bullets for things like that because it leads to a broader conversation.
Word.
You know what I'm saying? And like I think right now the conversation is about the struggles that Afro-Latinos faced in Latin America, and I think that it's a lot of things Black people in America don't know about the Afro-Latino struggle in Latin America. But I think when you start to do the knowledge to it, you realize that their struggle is a lot like ours was
same thing
here in America.
Yeah.
So I think that once we both realize we have those things in common, we can come together, and I think once we come together more here in America, because we need each other right now.
Oh,
you know
without
what I'm saying? I think that Black people, brown people.
Did you hear from a lot of Afro-Latino Latinos when after that went down?
Yeah, like my people, like people that I know, like my man Laz Alonso and like other Afro-Latinos that I've had conversations with definitely reached out to me because they were making sure I didn't have things misconstrued. But I just feel like we all need to come together because this year especially is a voting year. And, we need to get the House and the Senate back. And I think Black and brown people need to be on the same page along with the good white people, and the good gay people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We need to all be on the same page
so
we can go vote in these blocks, man, and get this evil out of the motherfucking government right now.
I feel you. Listen, bro, I keep trying to say it. We talk about it all the time in the conversations we have. We all going to be all right as long as we're all willing to learn.
Yes.
To learn as much as we're willing to talk and point fingers, as long as we're all willing to learn.
And stop trying to understand evil. That's something that I've learned over the past few years. There's no need to understand evil. Fuck them. Ship them to Worldstar Island.
Worldstar. All right, brother. Appreciate you, man.